So my favorite thing about the Spanish people, at least the ones I came in contact with in the South in my mission, was just how open and loving they were. Like they didn't really care that you weren't Spanish or wherever. Like they really just take you in and love you, especially if you can get past like that initial meeting, like that initial wall that everybody has, not just Spaniards. But as soon as you get past that, like your family, they always invite you over for like lunch or ask if you want to come over for dinner or dessert or whatever. We always got invited to watch soccer games because soccer is huge in Spain with Real Madrid and Barcelona. So people would always ask us, like, what are you doing for the game this weekend? Like, you want to come over? We're going to have food and friends. So that was kind of difficult because I was like, no, like we can't. They're like, oh, you don't like soccer? Like, no, we got these rules. Yeah, so probably just how open and loving they are, especially once you get to know them. They're super loving people. I would say make a connection with them first, because especially when it came to religion, they were super quick to throw up a wall. And as soon as that happened, it didn't matter, what you said. If you changed the subject, that wall was up and they weren't going to talk to you. So I would say if you could establish common ground first, not just try and force your message upon them, even though it's something that we know that they need. If you can just be their friend and then you can become their missionary. I think that was something that helped a lot that I learned. All right, so the Spanish people and the Spanish culture, it's a little different throughout Spain from what I've heard. I guess up north where it's a little bit colder, like in Barcelona, the people are a little bit more reserved, a little bit more closed off and rude. But in the south, it's, I imagine, like the South in the States, like people are a lot more relaxed, and in the evenings they just go and like throw up some folding chairs outside their door, and like the whole street just kind of hangs out and talks and yells. And so in the South it was super relaxed. Everyone was super nice for the most part. Not a lot of people wanted to talk about religion because up until I think it was 78, Spain was under a dictator. And so Catholicism was kind of forced on them. And so when you brought up religion, at least the older generation kind of had a bitter taste in their mouth about it. So they didn't really want to talk to you about it. And the younger generation was a little bit atheist, or at least agnostic. So that was a little bit challenging. But as far as just, having conversations with people or asking them questions or whatever, they were super nice. Especially to Americans. They really like Americans. The food in Spain was delicious. Super good bread, super good rice, super good seafood. They have a dish called paella. It was my favorite thing I've ever eaten in Spain. You could get it with chicken or with shellfish or with steak or whatever, but it's just rice and a bunch of vegetables. And it's super good. What else about Spain? It's super old. There's a lot of history. It's been inhabited and run for a long time by Muslims and for a long time by Jews, and now it's technically by Christians with the Catholic kings like Ferdinand and Isabella when they sent out Columbus. So it's super old. There's a lot of mixing of cultures. Like you can see a lot of the influences of the different like periods in its history. So that was one of my favorite things, like besides sharing the gospel, just learning more about the country and just everything that's happened over the last 2,000 years in there. I think it was Paul that went to Spain, that he says he's going to Spain. So not a lot of countries get a shout out in the Bible, but Spain did.